If you're such a good friend of Jennings, perhaps you can explain him to me.
I didn't come here for that reason.
Well, you're here, so tell me.
I'm not going to defend Chris Jennings.
No, I guess you couldn't after that phone call this morning. Tell me, how could any man be so callous as to not come himself, to send someone else in his place?
Well, he felt it useless to come here.
I don't buy that. I think he's scared. I don't know what of, but I'm going to find out.
Wouldn't you be better off spending more time seeing that your sister had proper medical care?
We've been to doctors.
Well, from what Dr. Hoffman said, it's possible that your sister is...
Dr. Hoffman didn't examine her.
Don't you realize, Mr. Stewart, that by your staying here, you're making your sister's life very difficult?
It's necessary.
Well, I realize the situation is a difficult one, and it's a very tragic situation, and I'm not going to try to minimize it, but the truth is that Chris Jennings is in love with my cousin. And that is probably one of the reasons why he doesn't want to see you or your sister.
He goes on living while he acts as if this never happened, like it was some little embarrassment along the way. You want to meet my sister, Mr. Collins? She was beautiful. Once. Sabrina, this is Mr. Collins. He's a friend of Chris Jennings. Say hello. Say hello to Sabrina, Mr. Collins. She can hear. She can hear.
What do you do, Sabrina?
You think your cousin will end up like this? Didn't think of that, did you? What's the matter, Mr. Collins? Can't you look at her?
Only because this is exactly the kind of scene you should be avoiding if you want your sister to have any peace. Look at her. Don't you realize that this is the sort of thing that's made her journey here very difficult?
She has got to remember. And if the only way I can make her remember is to shock her out of it, then I'm willing to.
You're very cruel, Mr. Stewart.
No. No, I just won't have any life until my sister has one. And you can tell Jennings that.
I believe he already knows that. Goodbye, Miss Stewart. Miss Stewart, I'm sorry that you don't realize your staying here is a bad thing to do.
Your cane. Let her see it.
Stewart.
Show it to her. A wolf's head. She's remembering. She's remembering.
If you will give me my cane, Mr. Stewart. We are needlessly upsetting her. Now, this cane has nothing to do with Chris Jennings.
It has some meaning for her.
Many things do, I'm sure.
Some special meaning. Sabrina. Sabrina, tell me, why does this frighten you? Tell me, Sabrina. Try to remember it. Speak to me.
She is not going to, Mr. Stewart.
Does it have to do with this cane, Sabrina? Is it the wolf's head?
Why would it be that?
I don't know. Is it the head, Sabrina? Try to remember. Try to think. Tell me, Sabrina. What does this make you remember?
You're going to cause a complete breakdown.
Yes. Yes, I may have to. Before she remembers.
Give me the cane, Mr. Stewart.
Oh, I've done it again. The best laid plans. You're not supposed to be here. Why didn't you go skiing? You were leaving at 3 o'clock. Chris, what's wrong? Well, you're angry. Well, Ned gave me the key. He had it from when he stayed here last summer. Well, it was a lousy idea anyway. I was going to be the first girl to give a surprise party that was a surprise. Look at me. Nothing I do changes your expression now. Even when I make a fool of myself. Why did you lie to me about going away for the weekend?
I wasn't lying. I was going away. I got sick. In fact, I still feel sick.
What's wrong?
That's all it is. I just didn't go, that's all. I don't know, it's flu or something.
Why didn't you call me?
Well, I didn't think it was important.
Well, you were just going to stay here and be sick all by yourself?
No, I was going to call, but Sabrina.
That's a symptom of the flu?
Sabrina, I think you'd better go.
No.
I mean it. I want to be alone.
No, but you should.
Will you get out of here, Sabrina? Look, I'm sorry. But you do have... You have to get out of here.
No, I want to stay. Let me call a doctor.
Get out!
All right. I guess I'll leave these here. I don't know why. Doesn't seem to be much point in a party that's not a surprise. Oh, Chris, why won't you let me help you? Why?
Sabrina, everything's gonna be all right. Mr. Collins is going for a doctor. Sabrina. Sabrina, can you hear me? Oh, thank God. Try to tell me what happened. Doctor, I'm glad you could come.
Barnabas told me what happened. When did she become conscious?
Just now.
Has she spoken?
Well, she started to talk. She looked directly in my eye, but she's never done that before.
Would the two of you please leave the room?
I'd like to stay.
Well, I'd like to examine your sister, Mr. Stewart.
Come along, Stewart.
Look, Doctor, if she talks...
I will let you know, of course. Now, Sabrina, I'm sure you've been through this many times before. Sabrina, what was there about Mr. Collins Kane that frightened you? You do understand. Yes, I thought you would. Now try to talk. I think you can now, Sabrina. You couldn't before. I believe that. But something's happened, and you can talk now. Sabrina, you can talk to me. I'll do everything I can to help you.
Are you finished?
No, not yet.
Look, I heard talking. Now, did she answer you?
I'm accustomed to talking to my patients, Mr. Stewart, and telling them what I'm doing. I'm about to take her blood pressure. Now, if you're so concerned...
Look, if there was talking, I want to know about it.
Were you talking, Sabrina?
Were you?
Are you satisfied, Mr. Stewart? Now, you want a report. Her heart beat is normal. Her pulse is normal. Her blood pressure is low. But not low enough to have caused the blackout that she had. Now, my advice is to you to move
No.
her. You didn't let me finish, Mr. Stewart. To move her to my hospital where I can make more definitive tests.
It's out of the question.
Mr. Stewart, Windcliffe is an excellent hospital. It has a staff of psychiatrists that are...
She stays with me.
All right.
What are you going to give her?
A sedative.
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary. Don't you want your sister to get some proper rest?
No, I don't. I don't want her to go to sleep. Look, whatever she's been through, whatever's happened, she might remember now. She might start to talk. No sedatives, Doctor.
All right. I think you would be wise to find some other medical advice, Mr. Stewart.
Julia, don't you think it would be a good idea if you stayed with her?
It isn't necessary.
But you don't know what's going to happen, Mr. Stewart.
My sister will be all right.
I'm sure Dr. Hoffman doesn't mean to cut herself off completely from a most interesting case.
I am sorry, Mr. Stewart. Here are some sleeping pills in case she has any difficulty sleeping.
Sabrina, I hope you'll be feeling better.
Look, don't I owe you something.
I'll send you a bill. Good night, Sabrina. Good night, Mr. Stewart.
Mr. Stewart.
What did you remember, Sabrina? What was it? Look, you've got to tell me. Now, I know, Sabrina, that it had something to do with that night, something to do with Chris. I know it. Sabrina, please, please.